my ex is dating someone. This is what we're gonna discuss today in this video. What you should be doing. How can you feel better when you learn this news? And I know it's very, very stressful. I know you might be in panic mode right now as soon as you heard that your ex is dating someone. Perhaps you have those thought process that they replace you, they will move on, they will forget you. I'll explain in this video what you should be doing, the different actions to help you recover the relationship, to help you get back with your ex, because it's actually it's sometimes easier to get back with an ex when they are dating someone. And I'll explain you also the mistakes that you might be doing, the mistakes that I see sometimes where people call me a little bit too late and we can't recover the relationship, because very often the worst mistakes are done after the breakup. I'll explain everything after the jingle.
IGetMyExBack.com. Everyone deserves a second chance.
Before I start, I want to remind you that I put together a quiz for you to know if you have any chance to get back with your ex. The idea is very simple. You answer about 20 questions about your relationship, and we assess in this quiz whether you have a chance or not to get back with your ex. What I'm going to explain in this video works only if you have a score above 15 on this test, meaning that your relationship is recoverable. Right now, if you have a score above 15 and you do the mistakes that I'm going to explain in the next slide, it's going to be harder, right? So you want to really make sure that this process is easy, this process is fast, and you accelerate the process of you getting back with your ex. First of all, do not panic, and that's the thing that will actually prevent you from getting back with your ex. I'll explain why actually it's not a huge deal that your ex is dating someone. But you have to understand that being emotional towards your ex is actually deteriorating your image. The image of someone who's strong, the image of someone who's confident, and this is what you want to project. So whenever you're emotional, whenever you call or text your ex, whenever you feel that you're jealous as they're dating someone, you will make your ex comfort the decision, and they will push you back again and again and even further. So it's very important. Right now it's time for you to develop yourself, to work on yourself, and we'll explain how it works, to make sure that they realize they made a mistake. So don't think that you have to get into a competition mode. That's not the point. Because when you fall into that competition mode, this is when your ex will play around. This is when your ex will actually comfort their decision. So it's a really question of timing. When they start dating someone, the best thing you should be doing is to ignore that dating someone. That's the best thing you should be doing. Now, I'm saying this and you might be thinking, okay, I know they're dating someone. I can't forget now. It's too late. So how do you do that? Your thoughts are the problem. So as a certified counselor, that's my job, and actually I'm very passionate about those topics, is how we can understand our thoughts, our emotions, how they're all interlinked. Because when you master your thoughts, when you master your emotions, therefore your actions are better, especially post-breakup. It's very emotional, it's high in emotion. We have these thought processes that are sometimes very toxic, very negative. And this is what makes us make the wrong actions, right? It's really about the actions you make. So the fact that your ex is dating someone shouldn't change anything in reality. The pain should be the same. You're single, right? That's a fact. You are single. So the fact that your ex is dating someone, the fact that your ex is single, doesn't have anything to do with you. But of course, it's very hard to get rid of these thoughts. So how do you do that? Or what you're doing right now? You're doing is that you're replacing your history, the story you had with your ex, and you're placing this inside this new relationship. You assume that all the things that you've built with your ex, all the feelings that you had with your ex, all this connection, this chemistry, they have it, right? And so you create this fantasy. The idea that, oh, this person is taking my place, right? And this is what creates the pain, because you're not there anymore. Your other half is gone, and someone is replacing you, is having the same story that you had before. Is that helping you to think about that. Are you convinced? Are you sure it's going on? This is what you have to ask yourself. Thinking about them together, is it helping you in any way? Is it helping you to feel better? Is it helping you to get back with your ex? Is it helping you to grow, to build that resilience? No. So it has to stop. This has to stop, okay? You have to accept the following. You will never know what's going on in their relationship. And I would argue, and it's not argue, I would tell you, as soon as you try to investigate and know more, this is when your value will decrease, because they realize that you're jealous, they realize that you don't respect their privacy, their space, that you're too clingy, that you're not done with the relationship. You have to accept, and this is a fact, this relationship is different. That new person is having a new relationship with your partner. They are not having the same relationship as yours. It is different. And so you should stop feeding what I call the anxiety monster. Because as you don't know what's going on, you would be basically creating those scenarios, you're creating those fantasies in your head, and therefore feeding the monster. So anxiety takes its source from our thought process, replacing gaps in a storyline with negative things. Okay? And when you do that, of course, it affects your emotion, it affects your mood, it affects anything that you want to achieve. And it affects your chances to get back with your ex. So you have to say bye-bye to the thoughts. 3 main tips. First one, to get yourself busy. If you stay at home doing nothing, you will have this sort of, your mind will start obsessing on those thoughts. So be active, be proactive, go out, do some sports, find a new hobby. Okay? That's kind of tips that you can hear online. The second thing is really about taking ownership of those thoughts and those emotions. So that's what people like myself, counselors, can help you do, is to really understand what's going on in your head, how you can deconstruct those things. Sometimes it takes its source from childhood or different relationship. And once you've understood those things, and once you've experienced and experiment those things, you will be feeling better, right? All this pain, or maybe the weight that you have on the chest, the fact that you have problems sleeping or overeating, takes its source in the head. So find yourself a counselor, either locally, either someone online, to help you deconstruct those things. It doesn't necessarily mean months of therapy, but it's really about, especially if it's someone who's helping you on this specific breakup, it's really about deconstructing those thoughts. Another thing that helps as well is practice mindfulness, hypnotherapy. Those thoughts are basically always into the future, always into the past. I should have done this, or what are they doing? And so practicing mindfulness, stay in tune with your body, with here and now, does help you in terms of dealing with those anxiety. It will reduce the noise very substantially. So these 3 things, you can do them, all of the 3 of them. You can try, test things that will make you feel better and assess, do I feel better after I go for a run? Do I feel better after this session of hypnotherapy? Do I feel better after I spoke with this coach or this counselor? Okay, now what to do? You have to act, because it's really about action in this video. You have to act as this rebound doesn't exist. Now, you have also to understand that there is a rhythm, a dynamic with rebound relationship. And so if you get in touch with your ex too quickly, if you break no contact too quickly with your ex, they will push you back. You will burst their bubble and they will push you back. They don't want to be disturbed when they have this new relationship, especially at the beginning. You have to reach a point of neutrality, detachment, and you get to that point by working on yourself. And this is not working on yourself, going out and do some sports and find a new hobby. It's working on your mental health. What's going on in your head? How can you feel better? Okay? And once you get there and you reach out with your ex, then the tone, the discussion won't be about, I want to get back with you, or I'm jealous. It's really about, what are you up to? I'm interested in your life because we've been together. But it's very neutral. It's very, as someone who shared the history with you, I know our story is done, but I just wanted to get in touch with you. And there's no harm because I have no hidden agenda. Okay? The honeymoon phase. So in terms of rebound relationship, a rebound relationship takes about 3 to 6 months. It depends, but usually 3 to 6 months. It's very much high intensity, pleasure-oriented relationship. Nothing compared to your relationship you had with your ex, which was substantial, which was more about happiness instead of pleasure. Okay? So what happens is after the 3 or 6 months, the honeymoon phase, people see the complexity of their partner. They see their shortcomings. They start also to realize that anything that they took for granted, the quality that you had that they never realized, they can't see it in their partner. And so, if I summarize a little bit, you were there at the breakup. This new person is obviously better in the eyes of your partner, of your ex. But as the time goes by, they start to realize actually it's not that amazing. I don't share as many things. Things that start to get annoying. I don't know, his breathing, the way he cuts his meat or whatever. I don't know. Is decreasing. And so what you have to do at the same time is work on yourself and increase your value, if we can call that value. And so when that bubble, that relationship bursts, you will end up here, okay? And you'll see what's going to happen in your ex's mind. So that's why you need to take your time, because if you get in touch too quickly with your ex, they'll be like, no, I'm better off with this one, okay? So it's very important to understand that there's a dynamic, there's always this dynamic. If your ex, so let's do it this way. If your ex is in a rebound relationship, there is always this dynamic of them reducing their interest in their partner. Then what's going to happen, whether you go up or down, that's what you're going to work on. But if you do the right things, this will always happen, okay? Perhaps you're the rebound and this will never happen. Perhaps you don't work on yourself and this will happen, and then feel like, okay, I'm going to dump this guy, but I'm not going to get with my ex again. Okay? So your job is to really be there. And it's mechanic. It's stupid, but it's mechanic. Now, stop comparing yourself. We all do that. We're all guilty of that. What you have to compare yourself with is yourself from yesterday, yourself from last week. You know, when I work with my clients, I don't compare them with the ex, I don't compare them with me. I compare them with their version before. You know, you want, as you grow, as you learn, what you have to compare yourself or benchmark yourself with yourself. Do I feel better now versus last week? Do I feel more confident now versus last week? How's my level of anxiety now versus last week? So it's very important. It's not about the others. I don't care about the others. I care about you, and you should too. So be aware. When you're comparing yourself, when you start to do those things, you're feeding this anxiety monster again. Remember this, getting into a new relationship so quickly is unreliable. It is. So you have to understand this relationship will fail, most likely. It's more probable that it fails than it succeeds. So as I discussed, remember this, while you work on yourself, your ex will be in a position to compare. And what's going to happen is that your ex will be feeding that anxiety monster. Because at the same time, she sees that that new relationship is not as amazing as she thought or he thought. And they start to realize that the person they left, the person they've built something with, is now at a place where they wanted them to be. They're at a place where they're really happy, they're attracting people, they are fulfilled, they had an exciting life, and they have this phase of delusion. They feel like, what the fuck did I do? It really happens. Like, if you do the right thing, they'll be like, what did I do? The window sometimes is quite short, but there's always this phase of when you do like this, and they feel like, man, what did I do? And they sometimes feel like, okay, there's no way I'm going to get back with him because I made him suffer or her suffer. And this is where you have to be smart when you reconnect with your ex. This is so important, you have to remember. They will go to that phase of disillusion. And if you do the right things, if you respect the timing, if you have the right communication, this neutrality, you will get back with them. If you have any question, if you want to get in touch with me, there are links below this video in the description to book a free discovery call and ask me any question if you are curious about my method, about how I work with my clients, and you want to know exactly how I work. You can also, ask me in those calls, and I'll be more than happy to answer any questions. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
I get my ex back.com. Everyone deserves a second chance.